I wonder how often 914 and Black Widow are spying on each other. I see that rose there in that bag. You can't tell me there's not some sort of forbidden spy romance going on here. Ooh, dangerous. But today we'll be talking about the Faceless 914, or Agent 914, who works for the organization, the Faceless. Not much is known about 914, however, the organization is rumored to be supported by the Freedom League. However, others are convinced that it actually works for the Dark Empire, which just solidifies my thoughts that Black Widow is keeping tabs on this guy, especially if they don't know what side he's actually playing for. And I say he, but we don't know. That was a woman's face, however, that's a man's face. But that face fits the body type real well, and those are some big hands. So I'm going to assume this is a man. Moving on to the exclusive skill, though, this is a very complicated exclusive skill. So let's see if we can go ahead and break it down. The first part only affects Navy units. Now, at the beginning of the battle, he's able to give Navy units a shield equal to 34.8% of their health at max stats. Then the next part is he's able to apply vulnerability to all Army targets this round, and when they first take damage, the damage they receive is increased by 45.7%. So that's part 2 of his ability. Moving on to part 3, only when attacking, so only when 914 is attacking, there's a 50% chance to ignite all targets. Now this is worded a little bit weird. It's not all or nothing. It's 50% chance of igniting each individual target. So sometimes you get 4 burns, sometimes you get 5. The statistical chances you'll get 4 or 5. Technically it's possible to get 9, but it's also possible to get none. So this ability is a bit of a gamble, but usually you're going to burn a few people, and it does a ton of damage. Just before that unit attacks, it'll deal damage equal to 121.7% of the damage. Now, the damage for this ability is taken from the first stack of your unit. So stack number 1, the attack damage, is what dictates how much the burn effect happens. So increasing your march size, increasing your attack, these are all things that can increase the burn effect. Now, if this ability burns an Army unit, it applies vulnerability and removes it. Now, I've done a lot of testing with this, and it's worded a little bit weird, and it's a little bit confusing, and it's trying to how it works. Now, the way this sounds to me is whenever the unit is burned, the vulnerability doesn't work while they're on fire. So if you hit them while they're on fire, they're not affected by vulnerable. However, when the burn goes off, it applies it just before the burn and then removes it right after the burn, and the burn is what takes that vulnerability. Now, the vulnerable is only applied to Army units, so the way this is worded, it sounds like Army units who are ignited are going to take more damage than Navy or Air Force units. So, like I said, 914's abilities are a bit complicated. Gives a shield to Navy units, he applies vulnerable to Army units, lights everybody on fire 50% of the time, and his fire seems to do more damage against Navy units. With all that said, the strengths of 914, of course, is going to be strong, very, very strong, against Army units. Not only does it apply vulnerability, but since it's a Navy hero, you're going to get the suppression advantage if you're using Navy. And the Ignite only applies on offense. So 914 is going to be a very strong hero for offense. But, of course, the counter side to that is the biggest weakness of 914 is going to be defense, and since it's a Navy hero, air. So 914 is not a good pick for defense. Obviously, you want to avoid air. But something else to mention is there's actually a decor that is kind of a weakness to 914, and it's the fire hydrant. Now, this decor is obtained through the Super Invention event. Happens about once a month. But basically, this is to prevent suicide marches. There was something that the devs found out within just a couple days of releasing 914, where people were sending very weak armies to attack the enemy, and 914 would light their units on fire, and you get a bunch of kills without really losing anything in return. So what they did is this fire hydrant makes it so if someone is attacking you with 914 with a very weak army, so 40% of your combat power, the burn that's applied is reduced by 95%. The whole point of this fire hydrant is to reduce or get rid of the threat of suicide marches from 914. Now, on that same token, if someone doesn't have this, which you can find in the battle report, then you can do suicide marches with 914 and take out their units for nothing and really upset the person. But again, it's not really a weakness, but it's something to be aware of if you're using 914. If the person has a fire hydrant, suicide marches with really weak units just trying to burn the enemy isn't going to make a lot of difference. But if you manage to find someone who doesn't have this, you'll take out a lot of units for not a lot of cost. So keep that in mind. And if you don't have the fire hydrant, I strongly suggest getting this as soon as possible. Again, that event is called Super Invention, and I believe it happens every month. Now, as far as the uses for 914, since he's an offensive hero and just has offensive abilities, that's really all it is. He's a good combat hero, but only for offense. I wouldn't recommend putting him on defense. You still do get that health boost, but that ignite is really the main portion of his ability that just does so much damage. So use him offensively. Pairings with him, since he's able to give that health boost, anybody who gives an attack increase, such as Nimitz, Belios, or Basil, are going to be very good picks with him. Akatora is also going to be a very good pick since he's a strong offensive hero, and 914 just gives you that survivability, so it's good to balance him with some sort of offensive hero. If you're short on orange heroes, Simon would be the best of the purple navy heroes to use. Now, as far as the skills that you're going to want to equip 914 with, you're going to want his exclusive skill. Now, the equipable exclusive skill. Now, this is able to increase the effect of his abilities by a certain percent. However, it does not apply to his ignite. His ignite is 50%, and there's no making that better. However, it will increase the amount of damage his ignite does, as well as the amount of health that your own units will get. So his exclusive skill is a very good utility for him, so you're going to want to get that leveled up as soon as possible. The other skills you'll want to have equipped, which be, of course, march size, damage increase, and then the last one, a lot of people run attack increase. That's a good pick. You can also run HP increase just to stack on top of his exclusive skill even farther if you'd like for more survivability. Now, as far as the perks that I would recommend on 914, you're going to want all unit attack and HP, and of course, since he's a Navy unit, you're going to want Navy attack and HP. Now, as far as how to get him, 914 is generally only available during events. However, they recently released a level 70 pack. If you're interested, it's purchasable with real money, but once you hit level 70, I believe they released something that you're able to purchase him out of. Otherwise, you're just going to be waiting for an event for him to pop up. He shows up every few months or so. Let me know what you guys think of him. He's a fantastic offensive hero and definitely someone that is worth investing on. That his ability is very complex. I admit that, but this guy can take out an entire stack of tanks fairly easily when you take into account the ignite going off and the suppressions and the vulnerability. So super, super strong anti-tank unit. I mean, all Navy is, but especially 914. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please don't forget to visit my Discord and vote on future Top War Hero Spotlights. And as always, of course, the Discord is in the description below. But as always, have a fantastic day.